10 minutes from our lodge, we are at this fancy shopping center. Look at that elephant and the crocodile, other crocodiles. Another opportunity to buy tanzanite, but we have wood carvings and all kinds of other art that we're not going to buy, but we'll go take a look. Pretty modern. "32 school children, 2 teachers, and a minibus driver were killed here when their vehicle plunged into a roadside ravine in rainy conditions." Traffic accidents are too common. More than 11,000 people were killed in road accidents in Tanzania between 2014 and 2016. Just beyond the town of Karatu, we visit a small native village of Njia Panda and went to the primary school. While the government does provide free public education, they don't pay for supplies or other costs.
Meanwhile, the rest are ladies. We have got
14 teachers.
482 pupils, excluding grade 7 who have just completed school. So that means we had more than 500 pupils in this school. This is called Kinihe Primary School. Well, now, let's go to our teacher's office so that we have some more information about our school. Welcome.
I believe you have your school supplies that I mentioned in my email.
States that this school was opened in September 2004. Tour director is handing out photos from the last tour group that visited here. We're fascinated with Hannah's blonde hair. We stopped at this very nice resort for lunch. This has been a farm since the 1700s. It kind of fell into disrepair, and after World War II, a British war veteran bought it and returned it to production. At some point, they added some rooms and took in hotel guests, and then the government said you can't be a farm and a hotel, so they chose to be a hotel, but they kept the farm and used the food in their kitchen. Coffee beans are actually seeds. The fruit, called cherries, turns from green to bright or dark red. Then it's ready to be harvested. Then the cherries are processed as soon as possible to avoid spoilage. First, the fresh cherries are spread out on a large surface and left to dry in the sun for 15 to 20 days. They're regularly turned and raked to avoid fermentation and to ensure they dry evenly. Then the hard, shriveled fruit husk is stripped off the beans by machines. The coffee is placed in tanks, with or without water, depending on where you're at, to ferment for 18 to 24 hours. This begins to break down the mucilage, a sugary, slimy substance that surrounds the bean. When the coffee has had enough fermentation time, it's washed with fresh water to stop the fermentation. Then the coffee is dried on raised beds. This is a goat tower. Goats like to climb, and so these towers have become popular throughout the world. Well, they told us they haven't been very successful with pineapples, but they keep trying. But the papayas are coming along nicely. The farm is totally organic. They don't use any commercial pesticides, and they make their own compost. They take all of the plant material that isn't food and put it into these various bins, and in 4 months later, they've got great fertilizer. Here's some raised beds of various herbs. Here we have the activities for people who are staying at the resort. After our tour through the vegetable garden, we headed inside to a lunch utilizing mostly vegetables and fruit that they grow on site. It was really quite nice. And here's an overview of the countryside looking out from the resort. The owner of this home works at Gibbs Farm. Our tour directors become friends with him over the years and has arranged for us to visit his home. This room is what we might call the living room, with seating around the edge. The kitchen is a separate building, and here we are going in. You can see how low the roof is. Inside there's again a central tree trunk, and there's we call it a metate in Mexico for grinding the corn. This lady is showing us how the corn is ground, and here's a pot used for cooking in the kitchen, and this huge big pot is for storing grain. Outside, this lady is demonstrating how to carry a load on top of your head. One of the ladies in our group was brave enough to try it, and here she is with success. Before getting married, this heavily embroidered skirt is made for the bride. And here our almost newlyweds are modeling the outfit for a traditional wedding here. After leaving, we drove to this nearby farm where our tour director, George, dropped off the vegetables that we had bought the night before in the market. About half an hour later, we passed this traditional shopping area, but we did not expect to see these stands. And then about 20 minutes later, we arrived at Ngorongoro.